In the Serengeti, beauty always walks hand in hand with death, and standing at the top of the food chain are not the strongest, but the most ruthless. Under the scorching sun of the Serengeti, where herds of antelope race like living arrows, buffalo graze slowly and lazily, and massive giants called elephants calmly part the sea of green grass, an invisible but brutal war is constantly unfolding. Behind the glow of supreme power, the lion wears two faces, one of majestic dominance and the other of cold-blooded cruelty. And hidden beneath that golden glory is a blood-soaked world where every single day is marked by deadly, relentless battles for survival. In today's journey, I will take you deep into the world of the most notorious killers in the Serengeti, infamous lion coalitions, chilling coups for power, heart-stopping life-or-death moments, and deaths so brutal they make the entire savannah tremble. Are you ready? This journey might just completely change everything you thought you knew about the Lion King. There is a reason why Serengeti lions are often labeled as the most brutal beasts in all of Africa. That brutality is born from the harsh survival conditions of this place. During the long dry season, water and food become resources worth killing, for forcing the strong not only to fight hyenas or leopards, but even to battle their own kind. This unforgiving reality has pushed Serengeti lions to evolve into perfect fighting machines, where strength, strategy, and savagery are blended into raw survival instinct. And under the pressure of extreme natural selection, lone individuals cannot last long. Instead, they form powerful coalitions, deadly units that have written some of the bloodiest chapters in Serengeti history. First up, the Mapogo Coalition, a deadly legend. In the entire history of the Serengeti Plains, there has never been a force that spread pure terror the way the Mapogo Coalition did. 6 male lions, each hardened by countless battles to the death, came together into one devastating unit of power. They did not just claim territory, they redefined the very meaning of dominance. Across more than 650 square miles, or about 1,700 square kilometers, no creature dared challenge the rule of the Mapogo if it wanted to see another sunrise. The horror of this coalition was not just in the numbers, although in just a few years, they killed more than 40 rival male lions, but in the way they carried out their conquests. The Mapogo did not hunt simply to survive. They hunted their own kind like grim reapers, tracking down prides, launching surprise attacks in the dead of night or when their enemies were most vulnerable. And once they locked onto a target, they did not just chase them off, they eliminated every last one without mercy. Second, the Magelain Brothers. If the Mapogo Coalition ruled through overwhelming strength and ruthless bloodshed, then the Magelain Brothers dominated the Serengeti with a far more sophisticated weapon tactical intelligence. 4 brothers. Their coats golden, like the sunlit savannah, emerged from life and death battles with a terrifyingly refined strategy. They never charged in blindly. They hunted their enemies like seasoned generals, assigning roles closing in on rival prides with cold calculation. Instead of direct combat, the majingilane would patiently pursue, cut off supply lines, and exhaust their enemies before delivering the final blow. Their cruelty did not lie in the body count, it was in the way they broke their opponents down bit by bit. They could trail a pride for days, applying constant psychological pressure, with sudden ambushes in the middle of the night, or with tactical chases across the endless grasslands. Their enemies rarely died in open combat. They withered under the fear of being relentlessly hunted. What made the majingilane nearly unbeatable was their almost perfect coordination. When one made a move, the other 3 would immediately provide cover support or block escape routes. Every step they took was like a piece on a deadly chessboard, and within this coalition, mistakes were nearly non-existent. Third, the Birmingham Boys. As the legacy of the Mapogo legends faded into memory, the Birmingham Boys quietly rose from the shadows. There was no grand entrance, no dramatic conquest. These young males took advantage of the chaos to forge a new empire in silence. Unlike the Mapogo or the Magelain, who had been hardened during an era of relentless war, the Birmingham Boys were born into the aftermath, into the dark shadow of a blood-soaked age. They did not just inherit strength. They absorbed the painful lessons of survival domination and how to rebuild order from a shattered world. The 4 surviving members, some of whom had witnessed the fall of the previous generation, came together to form a coalition with a bold ambition to reshape the entire balance of power. Their strategy did not rely on explosive violence like the Mapogo, nor on patient pursuit like the majingilane. Instead, they advanced steadily and methodically, claiming key territories one by one while avoiding costly, drawn-out conflicts whenever possible. Research reports have noted that the Birmingham Boys were not only successful in seizing control, but also in maintaining stable dominance over time, a rare achievement in the history of lion coalitions. By blending the fiery legacy of the past with the calculated caution of the present, the Birmingham Boys became true successors. They brought an end to an era of chaos and ushered in a new order, one ruled by those born of war and raised to dominate. Beyond the terror and savagery of each individual or coalition, there is one other brutal behavior that lions are notorious for: the deliberate killing of cubs. When new males seize power, they do not merely seek to pass on their own genes and start a new generation. A powerful biological instinct drives them to eliminate every single trace of their rival's bloodline, ensuring nothing from the previous rulers survives. No exceptions, no mercy. Any cub that does not carry the blood of the new dominant males is killed on sight, often in the very first moments after the takeover begins. This is not only a way to trigger new mating cycles, but also ensures that every resource from territory to the care of lionesses serves one purpose only: to nurture the next generation of cubs carrying the victor's legacy. If infanticide represents a brutal method of preserving genetic dominance, then the battles between adult males are the rawest expression of violence. Studies show that when competing for territory or control of a pride, males clash in lethal combat. There are no warning displays, no chances to surrender, just roaring that shakes the sky, claws tearing through flesh, and attacks that stop only when one collapses. More frightening still is the silent purging that happens within lion coalitions themselves. Scientific records have documented that when a member becomes weak, loses strategic value, or starts to weigh down the group, an internal elimination often occurs. It happens quietly but mercilessly, like a cold natural mechanism of self-purification. But even in the midst of all that chaos and brutality, nature continues to function according to a deeper order. It is in fact those who seem the most ruthless that are quietly maintaining the balance and sustainability of the Serengeti. The elimination of the weak is not wasteful, it is nature's way of protecting the overall health of the population. When the weaker ones fall, only the strongest bloodlines are passed on, strengthening the resistance and adaptability of the next generation. At the same time, through hunting, lions help regulate the numbers of antelope, zebras, and buffalo species that could cause serious ecological imbalance if left unchecked. And even in death, their role is not over. The remains of fallen animals become a rich source of nutrients, feeding the soil, helping to regenerate plant life, and starting a new cycle of life where destruction becomes the seed of creation. Though brutal, the life and death struggles among the species of the Serengeti are not acts of senseless violence. They are part of nature's eternal rhythm of balance. Every death, every instance of natural selection clears the way for life that is stronger, more resilient. Thank you for joining us on this journey into one of the most unforgiving yet awe-inspiring corners of the wild. If you enjoy raw and remarkable stories of survival like this, be sure to hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you do not miss any of our untold adventures in nature. We will see you again on the next journey.